Russia and Ukraine are still at war, but there's 12, where we will have all the latest from Ukraine and Russia, also on the program. It is National Women's Day, so we expected the women's life. And also, we work behind the scenes of EastEnders. And will you have your favorite music? And also, we will meet the man who loves his life so much.
ITV Evening News with Owen Shreves.
Good, my name is Wiz, and we will talk about Sheffield. Okay, I mean this now. I mean this evening. Russia and Ukraine are still at war, but it is day 12. So tonight we will have all the latest. Our old word is open Ukraine. Here is the latest.
To give you a quick update as to where we stand with the fundraising. We're halfway through. We're super excited. We want to say thank you to each and every single one of you.
As a Hollywood power couple, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis have a big reach. 30,000 people have already donated to their campaign to help those fleeing war in Ukraine, the country where Mila was born.
We're halfway there. We're at 15 million and we're heading to 30. And we're going to make this happen.
The pair have also pledged to donate $3 million themselves. Stars across the spectrum all wanting to show solidarity. Dolly Parton leading the pack at last night's Country Music Awards in Vegas.
Now, I don't want to be political, and this is not. I'd rather pass a kidney stone than do that. But I want us to send our love and hope to our brothers and sisters in Ukraine. Yeah.
Meanwhile, in France, model Gigi Hadid pledged to donate her earnings from Paris Fashion Week to charities which help those living through war. These simple acts of compassion, a human response to want to help. Sally Biddulph, ITV News.
Yeah, thank you, Sally, for all that latest. If you want all that latest, go to itvnews.com/loose. Yeah, we are saddened with Ukraine as this difficult crimes continues. If you're upset, we'll tell you tonight. Please go to itvnews.com/loose or do Britain's Dead Talking app. Staying on with the topic with Ukraine and Russia, Ukraine advanced the forced couple went on a quest for a line. Here is the latest.
The bride wore camouflage, and so did the groom, but there was no disguising their love for one another. Fellow reservists carried weapons but threw flower petals. The Orthodox Christian wedding of Lesya Ivashenko and Valery Filimonov was unorthodox in almost every way. In a traditional ceremony, a crown would be held above the bride's head. The alternative was more in keeping with their surroundings close to the front line.
I'm happy, completely happy, despite all this really awful time, but because this man, it's my life, love of my life.
They'd been partners for years, but only recently took up arms to defend their country. With the future unclear, they felt now was the time to marry. Members of the media were also invited to witness the wedding. The authorities here know the value of a story which raises morale. So former world heavyweight champion and current mayor of Kyiv, Vitaly Klitschko, offered his blessing. There will be no honeymoon. All is unfair in love and war. Ian Woods, News at 10.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, 1 minute week with that latest. Okay, we'll be back after the break, but still coming up, it will be talking about National Women's Day and what's your taste of music. Oh yes, we know you guys love a taste of music. Yeah, what is your taste of music? We want to know. So let us know at iTunes.com/news. I know we do want a taste of music, do we? Every day we want a taste of music. Every day we love music. We love to dance. We love to boogie. We love to dance. Yeah. Okay, I know. Anything to happen while you're live on the news. Alright. Do not go anywhere. Anyway, we'll be back after this short break.
Big shops, birthdays, days of love, healthy grub when you're being good. Don't forget the pancake stuff, panic stations, new situations, pharmacies for medications, beauty creams, sporty gear for new regimes, smashing stuff to smithereens, kittens, opticians, favourite mucks, Easter egg hunts, choice cuts, George and Mildred at the till. Everything fresh and wonderful. Fridges, kids, cupboards, all full. Whatever's on your list, at Asda we've got it. Quality products at great prices, no compromises. Bring it home. Asda, save money, live better.
Bird's Eye, made with 100% chicken breast. Winner winner chicken dippers for dinner.
When it comes to family vacays, first choice got kung fu skills.
The grandmasters of all inclusive.
Black belts in no bar bills. They're the czars of spas and swim up bars. The big kahunas of the beach. The chiefs of reefs and aperitifs. The maestros of all you can eat. Shout A to the I, these holes are hella good.
Go Mahusive with the all-inclusive. Book now in your local TUI store. First choice at All Protected.
We're back. Alright. Now, the Great and Watch I saw a war, but it is day 12. And when will this be over? We don't know. We don't know to when it'll be over. We don't know of it. But what we know is a wedding in war. That is weird. That it is very weird to have it in Ukraine, and a war as well. The war in Ukraine is very weird. It is very weird. Johnson calls to SEP and end liquidation in Russia of oil and gas. Here is the latest.
A super yacht owned by Igor Sechin, a billionaire oligarch closer to Putin than most, seized last week by the French authorities after Sechin was sanctioned. And this one, owned by Russia's richest man Alexei Mordashov, also seized by the Italians. Symbols perhaps of how the EU and the US have seemingly been tougher on those who bankroll the Kremlin than Boris Johnson's government, though today he said all that would change thanks to a new law being rushed through Parliament.
We are making sure that we have new powers to distrain, to take people's assets.
Before today, the UK's economic war against Russia, its sanctions included freezing the assets of some Russian banks, closing banks out of the SWIFT money transfer system, and banning Russian planes and ships from our shores. The new economic crime bill will make it easier to sanction Putin's allies by piggybacking on sanctions imposed by the US and EU, and compel foreign owners of UK property to reveal their identities. The point is that the UK became a home from home for dodgy Russian money.
As the Russia report from the Intelligence and Security Committee a few years ago said, the UK has offered ideal mechanisms by which illicit finance could be recycled through what has been referred to as the London laundromat. That is damning.
But the lifeblood of the Russian economy is oil and gas, and the West is still buying billions of dollars of the stuff every week, and there are as yet no sanctions on that stuff.
There's a lot of debate going on about energy sanctions, and here we should not make a mistake. We have to ensure that they don't generate unmanageable risks to energy supplies in European countries and beyond.
The Russian son of a KGB officer.
I, Yevgeny Lord Lebedev.
Lord Lebedev of Siberia, who's the owner of the London Evening Standard newspaper. The PM made him a peer, having overturned reservations of security officers. So, does the PM regret ennobling Lebedev?
This should not turn into a general sense that we're against Russians. Any Russian living in the UK, any Russian who contributes to UK society should suddenly be under suspicion.
Volodymyr Zelensky, president and hero of Ukraine, who tomorrow will make a historic address by Zoom to our own House of Commons. However much we're punishing the Russian economy, he'll tell our MPs they need to do more to help him and his people, and fast. Robert Peston, News at 10.
Thank you, Robert Peston, with that latest. Alright. I'm so sorry the video is paused, but we will try our best. CONTEMPT as Moscow as Ukraine is EVACUATION routes often into Russia and BELARUS. Here is the latest.
The horrors of the bombardments on Ukraine's Black Sea coast are almost entirely invisible to the outside world. But this is what hundreds of thousands are living through. These Ukrainian drone pictures claim to show Russian rocket artillery. The images at night are, if anything, even more horrifying.
at the moment, we are ready to make evacuation from Mariupol to Zaporizhia, and we're ready to transfer humanitarian materials to our city. But there is continuous shelling in Mariupol, and we did not have confirmation about safety corridor.
Humanitarian corridors have been offered out of towns like Irpin on the outskirts of Kiev, where civilians fleeing suffered horribly over the weekend. But the offer is only for routes into Russia or Belarus, described by the Ukrainians as absurd, cynical and unacceptable. And who of these would want to run into the arms of an enemy who's done this to them? Helicopters have brought the negotiators back to the intermittent peace talks taking place on Ukraine's border with Belarus. Terms have been offered to the Ukrainians that would amount to abject surrender and the partition and neutralization of their country. President Zelensky is not about to accept. We will never forgive the shooting of innocent people, he said, the destruction of our infrastructure. We'll never forgive hundreds and hundreds of victims, thousands and thousands who've suffered. And God will not forgive, not today, not tomorrow, never. The Ukrainians have suffered terribly and lost much ground, but they remain a long way from defeat. After 11 days of fighting, they continue to wreak havoc on Russian supply columns and even on their armoured vehicles. In the skies, they continue to score successes. This, a Russian aircraft being shot down above Kharkiv, to the evident joy of the defenders. But a new and bitter battle is being fought in the southern city of Mykolaiv, which holds the key to Odessa and complete Russian control of Ukraine's Black Sea coast. It's being defended fiercely, but the battle here may decide the whole of the southern front. The peace negotiators say tonight that they hope at the fourth time of asking tomorrow to get a humanitarian corridor operating out of Mariupol. As for the terms that Ukraine has been offered at those peace talks, there is no chance of them accepting them at this stage. There is a long way to go in this war before either side believes it's won all it can on the battlefield. James Mace, News at 10, Kiev.
Thank you, James Mace, with the latest. I'm not sure if the video has been paused 3 times. We're going to sort out what the problem is, and we'll tell you as soon as possible. It was L as family splits apart as we see 3 BESRIE Ukraine city of the Rhone of LRPIN. Here is the latest.
To cross the river is perilous. To not cross it is far more so. This is the escape from Irpin, where the lucky leave alive. As the sound of shelling moved closer, not everyone had the good fortune to be able to run. This was hardly a dash for safety, but it was no less desperate. An elderly woman struggling to keep up. Other evacuees streaming past as she inched towards safety.
Tell me what last night was like.
А що, скажіть, як вчора було вночі?
Страшно, пекло було,
was
пекло.
hell. It was scary and it was
Пекло
hell.
було, це сьогодні я.
Proper hell.
Ми не думали йти.
Then we spot another group emerging from underneath the broken bridge. Some have left with few possessions from long and settled lives, but if this looks like agony, imagine those they left behind.
I panicked a lot, especially this at night. But this sound, as you can hear now, is not comparing to that which were struggling this night because it was light and warm and the whole building is shaking and we have been sitting in the doorway like half a night.
They've now reached the end of one road, the start of another. Where are you going now?
To Kyiv railway station.
And where are you going after that?
After my family go to east, I go to war.
You're going to war?
Yes, it's my land.
Then another evacuee arrives with news from the town beyond Irpin. It's done for, he says. Everyone has been killed. A moment to reflect does nothing to help.
Вообще, я не знаю, гуманність можна говорити у цьому світі, коли нас просто уничтожають всю страну. У нас страна невелика, ну в нас усе є, ми всім довольні, в нас усе є. Як можна дозволити усьому білому світу стерти нас з лиця землі і нікому?
The next stop is towards Kyiv, along the same route Russian troops want to take.
На железнодорожний вокзал, і все. Ми більше нічого не знаємо. Ні, ми самі просто їдемо. Куди можемо, туди тікаємо. Нас ніхто організований. Чай, кофе хотите?
We're invited into one of the tower blocks in the path of Russia's advance, where for now some refuse to go anywhere. So why doesn't she leave and get on one of those buses outside?
Не знаю. I don't know.
У меня нет ответа.
I don't have an answer for that.
Пока вот.
At Kyiv's central train station, those who did leave Irpin are taken west. Go. One man tells us,
Российские солдаты. Видел ихнюю технику с буквой В.
Across the waiting room, he spots his wife. They'll travel to Lviv together.
Да, я вважаю, що нам дуже повезло. Це наш
День народження.
День народження, так.
They are not alone in making a journey which would have seemed unthinkable 10 days ago. An escape from shootings and shrapnel means an escape from home. All this is the painful consequence of the decision of one man. Rohit Khatru, ITV News, Kyiv.
Right, that's heartbreaking and sad to see people go to war. People afraid about all this. That's iRelease.com sad news. Okay, it's just way past 7 o'clock. Here is the latest. Here is the latest. Ukraine and Russia are already at war, but it is their 12. We will have all the latest. Still on the program, it is National Women's Day, so we will celebrate the women's life. Also, on the program, what kind of music do you like? And we were behind the scenes of we were behind the scenes of EastEnders. Right, do even. This wealth of Russia and Ukraine's war has failed Uruguay to stop it, but it is heartbreaking and sad as they went to war. Okay, quickly, what is the kind of music? A lot of people love music, and thank you so much for letting us know what the kind of music. And it says my type of music is pop. We love the song so much. Oh, they have two songs, do they? Okay, Salmon says, I love Shumsi. Oh, Shumsi. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. And Callum says, I love Ed Sheeran.
I love it when you do it like that, and when you're closer, give me the shivers. Oh baby, you wanna dance till the sunlight cracks.
There we go. Oh, we love Ed Sheeran. Thank you for playing that. Alright. If you want to see all your favourite music, go to iReaders.com/news. Okay.
Let's
Okay, Russia and Ukraine are at war, but it is very heartbreaking. And this just make us what? Just make us to cry, and it's just heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. Again, we got all the latest thanks to our brilliant reporters in Kyiv. Some of them are going to Poland. It's just amazing. It is just amazing. That's amazing to talk about live, and live is just amazing. Yeah. Now on to the royal latest. The Queen hasn't spoken about that, but Prince Charles has. He's spoken that it is heartbreaking and sad that he's really sorry to hear this. To say that about that I really don't comment that's loose. And yes, hopefully we will have more about the royal latest. This. Okay. Back to Russia and Ukraine. The war is still on, and it is day 12. But people are saying, when will it be over? We don't know when it will be over. We do not know when it will be over. It will be over in 3 months, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, 24 years, 25 years. And actually, it's not funny. It's actually not funny. I don't know why I'm laughing, but you should be laughing. It is actually not funny. It's actually not funny. It is actually serious. So it's actually serious because last Friday 1 million people already died in Ukraine, and it just makes me feel heartbroken. For me, it makes me feel heartbroken. It just makes me feel heartbroken. It's just really sad to see people who lost their lives in Ukraine, and it's just it makes you want to cry. It wants you make you want to cry. So if you're afraid, I told you already. I just want to tell you again. Please don't try to if you are afraid, and there are all the good things to say to you. Because it is actually a sad time at the moment. War and love. But the coronavirus is still around us. I know. It's just heartbreaking. Yeah. The UK only exports 1/50 of Ukrainian veterans. This is what happens with the news. You sometimes we get wrong. That's quality. The UK only APPROVES around 50 VISAS to Ukraine TEFUCEES. Here is the latest. So if I'm still playing it, stop and wait till we're there. Oh, so it is the latest.
There has been pressure on the government to accept more Ukrainian refugees, and a new visa scheme was opened on Friday. Today, the Home Office said it had so far granted 50 visas. But after meeting the Ukrainian ambassador, the Home Secretary said the scheme had only just started.
The scheme opened on Friday, on Friday afternoon. I was in Poland, actually, on the border, when we launched the scheme. Let's be clear, this is the first scheme in the world that's up and running in this short period of time. 10,000 applications, and yes, grants are happening as we stand here right now.
As of this morning, the Ukraine Family Visa Scheme had seen nearly 12,000 applications started, 5,500 submitted, 2,000 interview appointments booked, and those 50 applications granted.
So we're not complaining. But that's our dog over there.
Yuri is an electrician in Maidstone. His partner, Anastasia, escaped across the Ukrainian border 7 days ago. Now they're in Calais trying to navigate her visa application.
Why it was difficult, because the website, where we're supposed to upload our documents, it wasn't working. So it was just bugging from time to time. So only today we had finished.
Has it been a difficult journey?
Yeah, very difficult.
Has it been frightening?
Yes.
But interviews aren't even being carried out in Calais, so now they have to go to Brussels. With as many as 200,000 applications expected, the Home Office say they are surging staff into all their visa application centres around Europe.
Yeah. I said that was K report. I don't see my name often on the web report, so that was K report. Thank you, K, for that latest. Okay, that's it for Ukraine and Russia news. We will have more Ukraine and Russia news tomorrow. Okay, on with the happy news. Oh, yes, happy news. Oh, we need some happy news in our life, do we? We were behind the scenes. Well, I don't know why. I don't work behind the scenes of these centres. No, I wish I did. Oh, that would be amazing. If I went behind the scenes of EastEnders. Oh my god, I would love to do that, but unfortunately I didn't. Oh, one of my neighbours working behind the scenes of EastEnders, but I never in my million years are behind the scenes of EastEnders. I will, don't worry, I will, guys. I will go behind the scenes of EastEnders. So I will, but one of my porters who actually went behind the scenes of EastEnders. There's Ambulance here. Oh, thank you so much for being here. So, filming our EastEnders film in 2022. So, with the latest, supporter, Melissa, is actually a name, I don't know how to say her name properly. She went behind the scenes of EastEnders, and here it is. So have a look.
Walking up to our new lot for the first time was very disorientating because it is so like our old lot, only a little bit wider and a little bit newer, that I couldn't quite believe where I was. It is absolutely outstanding. what they've achieved in building this, and it's just an amazing addition. Excitement. I've been on the show now on and off for 30 years. I started as a runner 30 years ago, and back then the old space, the old lot, back lot, was made basically of wood and plastic, and so we've now got this new space which is made of real brick. It's really solid, it's really safe. It looks shiny and new, but it's been broken down by the Scenic artists, and we've got a few new areas as well, so it's a really exciting time for EastEnders. Believe it or not, Sonia is very partial to the odd wonton, so our new Chinese restaurant is going to be very, very good for her. This is one of our new roads. The roads are wider, and you can see how aged it looks when it's brand new. It is incredible. Absolutely brilliant. About 6 weeks before Christmas, I came onto the project just to help production move over, and that was the stage where everything had really been built, but then it was a chance for certain areas of our old lot to migrate over to the new lot. So things like the lawn, we knew that we had finished shooting them on the old lot, and it was safe to move it over to the new lot. So everything took a bit of time moving everything over, putting everything into storage that wasn't being used yet.
Alright, thank you Cecilia, for the latest. That's nice. Oh, I really want that to be on the end of EastEnders, but I will. Some point in my life, I will. Oh God. Okay, it is coming up to 7:07. Here is the latest you're waking up. Is the latest you're waking up this evening. Ukraine and Russia are in war by this day 12. But when it will be over, we don't know. 1 million people have been killed in this war. And a lot of people have been to Poland and some different countries to save their lives. Both socialists have been as well. And the Pomisa are open in Ukraine and Russia. And Hollywood has helped as well, as those people helped as well. Now, before we go this evening, it is National Women's Day today. Yes, of course, it is National Women's Day. Oh, lads, it's all about the women who spend their lives. If the women was here, we wouldn't be born men, would we? So, it's the National Women's Day, and it's all about the women who just love their lives so much, who just love their lives so much. So, to spend the National Women's Day, National Women's Day, National Women's Day, National Women's Day. Hey? So there. So it means all this is our porter. I tell her name, and it's very long to say it, but they have report this. So let's have a look and see what's the history of National Women's Day.
Today, March 8th, is International Women's Day, a day dedicated to celebrating the cultural, social and political achievements of women, and a day to reflect on the issues that they still face globally. But when did International Women's Day start? Who started it? And did it help destroy a centuries-old Russian monarchy? Well, let's find out. To unravel the true history of Women's Day, we need to go back over 100 years. The first hints of it appear around 1900. The German Social Democratic Party were holding conferences to discuss women's issues, such as the fact that they weren't allowed to vote. By 1907, the International Conference of Socialist Women had gathered in Stuttgart, Germany. This was led by Clara Zetkin, a German Marxist from that German Social Democratic Party. One of her primary goals was to get women into the workforce so that they could take part in workers' rights organisations, so that they would have the means to improve their own conditions. At this conference, they demanded
the right to universal female suffrage without qualifications of property, tax, education, or any other kind of barrier which may hinder members of the working class from availing themselves of their political rights.
Across the ocean in the US, the Socialist Party and the Women's National Committee had declared the first Women's Day. Marching through the streets of New York, they protested for better working conditions and better pay. This all took place on the 28th of February 1909. The whole March 8th date hadn't been set yet. Following this, a second international conference of working women came together in 1910. There, in Copenhagen, over 100 delegates from across the world came together. Clara Zetkin pushed the idea of International Women's Day, a day every year and in every country where women could organise and press for equal rights. After a unanimous vote, International Women's Day was born. These women at the conference were pushing some other revolutionary ideas. They demanded an 8-hour working day. They proposed that pregnant women stop working 8 weeks prior to giving birth, and that women would be paid a motherhood insurance of 8 weeks if the child lived, and all working women would enjoy these benefits, including agricultural labourers, home workers and maids. These policies will be paid for out of a special maternity fund out of tax revenues. These policies were supposed to not only help mothers, and while also allowing them to remain in the paid workforce. These policies heavily influenced its very start. International Women's Day was a day for working women, and its goal was to address their issues. Following on from this, International Women's Day celebrations sprang up across Europe. The first European celebration of International Women's Day happened in Vienna on March 8, 1911. Women marched around the famous Ringstrasse, carrying banners including red flags commemorating the martyrs of the Paris Commune and demanding the equal right to vote. If you don't know what the Paris Commune is, then go check out Step Back History's video on the subject. Link is in the description. Millions of flyers soon carpeted Germany, crying out,
Comrades, working women and girls, March 19 is your day. It is your right. Behind your demand stands social democracy, organized labor. The socialist women of all countries are in solidarity with you. March 19 should be your day of glory.
More than 1 million women took to the streets of Germany, crying out for equality. The fervour continued into 1912 with the Lawrence textile strike in the US, better known as the Bread and Roses strike. Bread and Roses, American socialist and feminist. In other words, decent working standards. Roses. More and more demonstrations decided to have a war, a First World War, and across Europe, political demonstrations such as Women's Day were cracked down on to keep the peace on the home front. To oppose this war, Clara Zetkin organised the third and final Socialist Women's Conference in April 1915. It drew delegates from across the globe, including people such as Nadezhda Krupskaya and her husband, some chap called Vladimir Lenin. They stated that the war only benefited the rich and the arms manufacturers, and stole away the sons and husbands of mothers. The war went on despite none. The most feminist ally already caused quite a ended up by 1970 mostly working in the textile and chemical industries. Ones with Women's Day 1970 calendar. Women striked against war. Men and women industry in Petrograd had ground to a halt. The protests weren't just made up of across the economic. Police smashed into the demonstrators. Women's to switch sides. Almost command. Put down your bayonets. Join us. Russia's February Revolution had begun. Trotsky wrote, the 23rd of February was International Woman, the Revolution. 300 grant women the right to vote. In Moscow, with Zetkin, made international that year as well. Now, these things were all eventually destroyed by Stalin. In 1936, he reversed most liberal policies and banned abortion. Women afterward. But in the first place, couldn't have the right to vote, and people considered women's fights for rights to be over.
Against the communist attempts at world enslavement.
The US, gripped with panic and fear at the very thought of communism's existence, in 1922 introduced from Woman's Day to Women's Day. And so this day, one that had inspired working women of the 20th century, one that had been the rallying cry for rights and the fuel for a revolution, was hidden away behind an iron curtain. International Women's Day remained a major holiday only celebrated in acceleration back, formally observed the date in space, acting as the Soviet Women's Day is now an effect. Because even globally, women still earn less than their male counterparts. They are nearly single-handedly, but every year brings more progress. From Kabul to Kentucky, every International Women's Day celebrates a new year with more powerful women as this revolutionary day continues to inspire women just like it did over a century ago.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this video. You can leave a comment if
Thank you, Robert. Robert Pitt with the latest on the National Women's Day. It is National Women's Day and it is called Tuesday the 8th of March 2022. I'm so sorry, but I'm so sorry we have to skip the video because the video is very long. So if you want to see it, it's at iFeelings.com/news. Alright, that's it from us this evening. I'm back tomorrow at 6:30 with the other latest news on ITV News. So that's the ITV News with me tomorrow at 6:30 right here live on YouTube. You know what I'm going to say. Up next, oh, you know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say. M-Dale is on the way next. Have a lovely, so you wait till Tuesday and good night.